Good evening and thank you for tuning into BrandPlus TV. It's always a delight knowing that you've taken your time and are keeping us company. My name is Andiro Ganga, ready to bring you up to speed with all the top stories making headlines. And as you know, we're all about business. Here's a glance of those stories. Sight on investment banking sector first half report. The banking sector shows resilience in first half of the year. Amending Article 43 to punish corruption. Time for collective action in the fight against corruption. The annual LSK Legal Awareness Week, lawyers speak in one tongue against corruption.
Angalia mafuta kama hii. Unaweza pika ugali kweli? Hii mafuta inaweza pika siku ngapi?
The impact of the new finance bill. Do we really know the implications? Employer of the Year Awards. Who is the best employer of them all? Thank you for staying with us. Now on to our top story. The Kenyan banking sector fared relatively well in the first half of the year, despite the challenging operating environment. Now, in an effort to draw valuable insight from the sector, today Sight on Investment released a report titled Growth and Efficiency Aided by Technology Amid Deteriorating Asset Quality. The report centered on the first half of 2018 results of listed banks. Now, our reporter Karari John attended the release of the report and brings us the following story.
Sight on Investment, which has over Kenya shillings 82 billion of investments and projects, today released its first half 2018 banking sector report, which aims at helping investors to determine which banks are the most attractive and stable for investment for a franchise value and future growth opportunity perspective. The report ranks KCB Group as the most attractive bank in Kenya, a position it has retained since 2016 financial year. Supported by a strong franchise value and intrinsic value score, it was ranked first on the back of a high return on average equity of 21.9% compared to an industry average of 19.5%, as well as high efficiency with a cost of income ratio of 52.0% compared to an industry average of 55.7%. Equity Group ranked second, recording the highest return on equity at 23.9%, the second best net interest margin at 8.8%, above the industry average of 8.1%, and the third best efficient bank with a cost-to-income ratio of 52.8%, above the industry average of 55.7%. Faith Wangare, an investment analyst at Sight on Investment, pointed out that the lowering of the central bank rate from 9.5% to 9% and the increased 8% levy on petroleum product have a trickle-down effect.
On interest rates, we had predicted a stable outlook on interest rates, and we had expected that CBR will be maintained at 9.5%. However, year-to-date experience is that the Monetary Policy Committee has lowered the CBR to 9%, citing that there was need to improve economic growth. And going forward, we expect that the interest rate environment will remain relatively stable. We don't expect that MPC will lower the interest rate going forward, but we remain neutral on the interest rate environment. On inflation, we had targeted that we'd have the average above the government annual target of 2.5 and 7.5%. So far, the inflation averaged at 4.2% in the first 8 months of 2018. And the year-on-year inflation rate for the month of August declined 4% from 4.4% in July. Going forward, we expect that the inflation for H2 2018 is expected to increase due to the increase in VAT that will be charged on fuel and other commodities in the market. We, however, expect that the inflation will still remain between the target of 2.5% and 7.5%.
Morethi Kagiri, an investment analyst at Saiton Investment, added his voice on the proposed draft financial market conduct and how it will translate to the customers in the long run.
So the draft financial markets conduct bill will likely come in place and remove the hidden charges that customers have been accusing banks of levying. So the financial markets conduct bill is, as I said, customer-centric. So it's likely to improve credit consumers in terms of decision making to ensure that they do make more informed decisions.
Despite a strong showing in the first half of the year, in lieu of a hostile operating environment, the banking sector is far from being in the clear. It is, however, the hope of many that the continued adaptation of technology will caution the very important economic sector. Reporting for BrandPlus TV, I am Korari John Wambugu,
Chairman of the Board, current.
Michael Njoroge today held a press conference at Ambassador Hotel, Nairobi, seeking to use Article 257 of the Constitution, the amendment by popular initiative to amend Article 43 of the Constitution, in order to have those convicted of corruption imprisoned and banned from holding public office for life. Take a look.
I'm sure you have passed through.
Speaking at the event, Michael Njoroge noted that the root cause of all the financial problems facing Kenya is corruption. For this, he is seeking to amend Article 43 of the Constitution in order to solve economic sabotage, economic crimes and corruption once and for all.
I think the economic benefit is that every shilling of Kenyan will become accountable. It will be used. Okay? All the Kenyans shall be connected with the use of the money. You will see how your money is being used by the government. You will have direct accountability. We shall have the legacy of Kenya secure.
Corruption cases for a long time have been dragged out in court. This is because there are no clear-cut ways of going through these procedures and no laid-out punishment for those found culpable. The bill seeks to change this by introducing different ways of punishing those found guilty.
Where you are involved in the economic sabotage, economic crimes and corruption. Now after the case has been taken to the court and you are found that you are involved, you shall never, you may be imprisoned for all your life, you may be sentenced to death by hanging, or when you are released, you never hold any public office in your whole life. Spirited fight against.
The cost of corruption continues to be borne by Kenyans who presently face high taxation. It is for this reason that the bill is seeking to streamline asset reclamation from corruption cases to be of benefit to Kenyans and Kenya.
Any public office you will go, it is there, you will have to receive it. It will be in the Constitution. They shall have to provide you how they are using their money. Now when you go get those records, and you confirm that there is negligent losses, theft of public funds and fraud, you can now sue. Then when you go to the court, you shall be accorded two free high court lawyers to assist you push on with that case. When the amount is recovered, now as the whistleblower, the citizen, you shall be given 25%. Then the other 75% shall go back to the Senate, and then the Senate shall determine how the amount shall be spent.
If somebody found guilty...
The pilot survey of collecting the signatures has garnered 998 signatures. The main collection is set to begin soon with 1 million signatures required. Thereafter, the signatures will be presented to the IEBC for verification, then presented to the County Assembly, the National Assembly, and finally the Senate. Should the bill fail to pass, then a referendum will be called for Kenyans to decide their own fate. Now, the Law Society of Kenya today launched its annual Legal Awareness Week that has been running for a decade in an effort to educate the general public regarding issues involving the law. This year's theme is Corruption, a Crime Against Justice, Democracy, Development and Prosperity. Our reporter Daisy Wambua was at the launch and has more details.
The 5-day event will seek to promote the mandate of the Law Society of Kenya of extending legal literacy and awareness to members of the public at no cost. Speaking during the official opening of the event, the Deputy Director of Public Prosecution, Nicholas Mutuku, termed corruption as a plague that contributes to the underperformance of the economy.
The theme of this forum is both timely and appropriate given the current societal mood. Corruption has been rightly likened to a malignant cancer that mutates and eats into the core and the fabric of society. Corruption is an insidious plague that has a wide range of corrosive effects on societies. It undermines democracy and the rule of law, leads to violations of human rights, distortions of markets, erodes the quality of life, and allows organized crime, terrorism, and other threats of human security to flourish.
Ellen Gishuhi, the president of the Law Society of Kenya, pointed out that corruption has sunk deep in society and as such, a need for concerted efforts to end it.
Corruption is a vicious cancer that permeates the fabric of our society. For decades, it has spread its tentacles and created an unholy symbiotic bond. It is a scourge that offends our democratic ideals and aspirations, and a constant reminder of what we have become. Complacent bystanders who have become pawns when the corrupt fight back and use politics and tribe as a shield when the sword of justice bears down on them. Unless we climb out of this hole of complacency, the corrupt will fight back, taking advantage of our weaknesses. Clearly, we put the future of this country at stake if we allow corruption to thrive. I urge us to pledge to never adopt any corrupt path under any situation, and in fact, we will raise our voices against any unlawful or illegal activity that takes place around. Problems aggravate when we turn a blind eye to corruption. But I sincerely hope that from now on, each one of us will strictly oppose and prevent corrupt activities from happening anywhere in our country and expose such officials who sabotage the economy.
Speaking on how to assist in fighting corruption, he made an appeal to the government to redirect all the penalties and fines paid to legal aid and witness facilitation, which will be a great boost to the budget and overall fight against corruption.
We have the Legal Aid Act that is grossly underfunded. We have the Witness Protection Act, which is also grossly underfunded in terms of witness facilitation fees. And one of the personal solutions I've thought about is simply this. We've heard about the Robin Hood tax, where the rich pay for the poor. But why don't we turn it around and let the guilty assist in legal aid? And towards this end, I will personally make an appeal and propose an amendment that at least 30% of all penalties and fines paid to the government should be allocated towards legal aid and witness facilitation funds. That will reduce the burden of the government year in, year out, not coming over and saying, we don't have sufficient allocation. And I think, join us in that. Let us have innovative solutions in how access to justice can be a reality within the next 6 months.
Speaking on the role of the judiciary in the fight against corruption, the presiding judge of the Anti-Corruption and Economics Crime Division, Lady Justice Hedwig Ongundi, stated that the Anti-Corruption and Economics Crime Division is focused at ensuring effective case management and expeditious disposal of cases involving corruption and economic crimes.
The establishment of the Anti-Corruption and Economic Crimes Division is aimed at ensuring effective case management and expeditious disposal of cases involving corruption and economic crimes.
The various legal services that will be offered during the Awareness Week include land succession, family, human rights, alternative dispute resolution, and accident compensation. The activities during the Awareness Week will be legal aid clinics that are set up at all high courts countrywide, where members of the public will be able to access free legal aid services from advocates, prison visits where advocates will attend to remandees in various prisons around the country and offer free legal services, and later on participate in a peaceful protest march dubbed Mulika Maliza Ufisadi on Wednesday, together with key players in the war against corruption.
Lawyers will provide legal services to members of the society, where we will also visit various prisons countrywide and assist those in need of our services. In recognition of the fight against corruption, on Wednesday we shall organize a peaceful march dubbed Mulika Maliza Ufisadi.
The report from the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission showing that the cost of corruption is at 5% on a global scale, it then boils down to billions of shillings in the country, and thus there is need for every person, organizations both in the public and private sector, and all government institutions be involved in fighting the vice. For BrandPlus TV Business News, I am Daisy Wambua.
With the new finance bill passed by Parliament on Thursday, the fate of Kenyans is now sealed, as the new levies are set to take shape soon to try and raise funds to fill the 700 billion budget deficit the country is currently experiencing. Now the question is, do Kenyans understand this bill and its impact on the Kenyan economy? Take a look at this report. The reality of the new bill is beginning to sink in slowly in the minds of Kenyans. For some, it is a sigh of relief, while others are buckling up, bracing themselves for the economic tornado about to hit them. Some of those who are favored by the tax are transport operators, who will enjoy a reduction of 8% fuel tax levy from 16%. However, this to them is no sigh of relief.
Bila wamepunguza, mimi sijaona chochote, mabadiliko yote bila wamepunguza. Iko tu vile vile. Juu wateja walikuwa wamepotea. Hata sasa bike zilikuwa karibu 3 hapa. Zote zilikuwa zingine ziko kazi. Lakini saa hizi bike zimejaa, hakuna customer. Ni kukauka tu, tunakauka tu hivi.
Petroli kweli imeongeza. Wamesema wameshukisha, lakini hatuoni mahali wameshukisha. Mahali ulikuwa unabeba customer na 100. Hata bado ukimwambia ongeza 20 baada anakataa. Unaona? Ukizidi kupishana na yeye, anapigia mtu wa Uber. Mtu wa Uber anakuja na mpe baada na 75. Unaona? Sasa si bado naumia. Tungeomba kama tena bado anaweza punguza kufika hapo, ifika hata 110 ama 100, at least tuendelee kubeba customer na hiyo so.
The biggest losers in this bill are rural and slum area dwellers. This is because the bill proposes an 18 shilling per litre adulteration tax to steer people away from using kerosene. This comes as the government has not offered an alternative solution by subsidizing the price of LPG gas.
So mimi naona kama mafuta wataongeza, itakuwa imeadhiri sisi kabisa. Sana sasa sisi hatutumii kitu kama cylinder hii gas cooker. Hatutumii nini, makaa imeongezeka, mafuta ndio tunatumia. So wakipandisha mafuta itakuwa imedhuru sisi kama watu wale wa US. Sababu sasa angalia mafuta kama hii. Unaweza pika ugali kweli? Hii mafuta inaweza pika siku ngapi? Hata stove yenyewe. Haiwezi toshea. So mimi naomba tu serikali tafadhali waangalie mafuta.
Another group of people who've taken a big hit are mobile money transfer operators. The bill indicates that each mobile money transfer will attract at least 15% excise duty tax. This has left many mobile money operators unsure of the future of their business.
Hii itatu affect sana kwa sababu kama sasa unaweza pata mseme mtu mwenye anatumia pesa kwa hapa, maybe kwa Kenyatta ama kwa hapa Adams, unaona fare kwenda hapo ni cheap than zenye unatumia kutuma. Na umeona ukitumia mtu do utamtumia plus za kutoa, umeona inakuwa too much expensive. Na sasa una prefer tu heri tu upeleke mara moja. Saa kama sasa hivi ulikuwa unafanya transaction like 100 and something a day. Sasa venye wameongezea hivyo unaweza pata unafanya transaction 30 a day. Plus sasa unaweza pia commission itatoa affect itaenda chini. Unapata sasa nyumba yako unashindwa kulipa. Unaona? Sasa unapata unaweza ongezea kama unafanya M-Pesa na vitu zingine unaongezea juu. Hata ukiangalia M-Pesa kama sasa niko na M-Pesa, niko na Equity, niko na Cooperative na zote zimeongezewa. Zote zimeongezewa. So hapo nitaumia sana. So I'd rather look for something else yenye nitafanya niongezee kwa shop na ni move on.
Kenya boasts of being among the top countries in the world with the fastest internet speed, impressive internet penetration and affordable data bundle. This is equally bound to change as Kenyans going online will now have to pay a 20% tax. This means many online businesses will struggle due to expensive data.
Once the service provider revises the price, we are going to see the impact. Then we see whether we're going to revise upwards or downwards. It will depend.
And if you revise upwards, what reaction do you think you'll get from the market?
Definitely. I know some clients will be frustrated, but we have to keep running. Yeah. For those who understand the business, I know they'll continue supporting the same.
The fate of Kenyans is already sealed. The budget has to be funded, and Kenyans will have to find the very last coin in their pockets in order to fund it. The question remains, will the project Kenyans are contributing dearly towards bear fruit in the long run, or this is just another government white elephant project? The Federation of Kenya Employers, which is the premier employer organization in Kenya, was established in 1959 under the Trade Unions Act Cap 233 to represent the collective interests of employers in Kenya. Now, for the second year running last Friday night, they organized the Employer of the Year Award, providing a platform for identifying, ranking, and recognizing excellence in the corporate performance field, people management, and industrial relations amongst employers in Kenya. A reporter, Karari John, attended the Friday Gala Night event and filed the following report.
The Employer of the Year Award, an initiative by the Federation of Kenya Employers, FKE, was held at Radisson Blu, Nairobi last Friday. The event was graced by the movers and shakers in the Kenyan business scene. FKE National President Mark Obuya, while opening the event, started by thanking audit firm PricewaterhouseCoopers, who conducted the survey that led to identification of the winner.
Thank you very much. I want to also take this opportunity to thank PricewaterhouseCoopers for conducting the survey and assessment. The feedback that I have received when I came in and I talked to a few members who participated was very encouraging. And we are confident that they have done their work professionally and there was no rigging.
Mark Obuya went ahead to encourage employers and industry players to back the federation, which is meant to act as their voice, especially in the wake of additional taxes by the government.
I wish to encourage all of us to continue supporting the federation and its activities in policy formulation and also in its advocacy efforts. It is the only voice that we have, ladies and gentlemen, and therefore we must all unite behind the federation so that we speak with one voice, especially in these challenging times. As you know, that we are faced with a steady flow of difficult economic demands, and the more recent tax regime, which I dare say is suffocating business.
All right, here we go, folks.
The federation membership encompasses employers both in the private and public sector, including state corporation, the local authorities, and employers association. The guest speaker, Ministry of Public Service, Youth and Gender Affairs Cabinet Secretary, Professor Margaret Kobia, emphasized on the need for respect and valuing of human capital as they drive the success of organizations.
The place of people in organization, I think we cannot really overemphasize, because good organizations are as a result of the people who work in those organizations. When we hear maybe the Coca-Cola, when we hear the Centum, when we hear good organizations in this country, it is not the Coca-Cola that is excellent, it's the people who are in and how they are treated in there. So the centrality of people in the success of organization cannot be overstated. People are the face and the heartbeat of the organization.
The Cabinet Secretary went ahead to point out that organizations and businesses have a huge role to play in the 2/3 gender rule by including women in their workplaces.
My ministry has the Department of Youth and, of course, gender. In gender, we struggle with gender equality. How do we get 2/3 principle? How do we even get 50-50? The struggle for women has been a journey, and even for us, Jacqueline Mogo, Miano, and others who are in this room, don't think where we have reached that we have conquered the fight. The struggle is even harder.
Drum roll, please. Drum roll, please. And the winner.
The colorful event saw British America Tobacco Kenya PLC emerge as the overall winner.
Are you ready? Safaricom.
Coming a close second as the first runners-up was Safaricom PLC.
Kofi, ladies and gentlemen, Kenyan, second runner-up.
While the second runners-up was Kenyan PLC.
Congratulations, Kenyan.
Pop and color is what filled this event as the Federation of Kenya's Employer held for the second time in a row the Employers of the Year award. This is regarded to promote and encourage best practices in corporate performance. Reporting for BrandPlus TV, I am Korari John Wampugu.
Now let's shift gears and take a look at the day's market performances, and here is a summary. That is how the markets performed today, but for more in-depth analysis, tune in tomorrow at 8 a.m. for my next big bet with Rachel Nderitu and Karanja Daniel as they carry out an in-depth analysis of the financial markets and other investment opportunities available to you. Now, traveling somewhere or your business relies on the weather, here's a summary of the weather report both locally and internationally. Take a look. Well, that's all the time we had tonight on the Business News Desk. On behalf of everyone that made it a success, thank you for watching. You can catch a rerun of this bulletin at 10 p.m. From us, it's good night. We'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place. Enjoy the rest of your viewing.